Hello everyone and welcome to my channel once again. So before we begin with the season 2 changes breakdown, let me tell you two things. The first one being that now all of my builds, all of the gameplays are separated into specific playlists so you can see the build guide as well as several gameplays. I always try to include not just one, not two, but three, four, or even more for every build that I make, so you can see how the build actually plays out. Also, all of the gameplays got the build's name in their title so that you can easily find them as well. And the second thing being that I am so grateful for all of the comments that I'm getting. Well, ever since the first build, you guys are the real MVPs. You are the reason I keep making content, and I'm having fun doing the content and playing the game itself, so that I can share that fun with you. Okay, so now let's have a look at the season 2 changes. So, season 2, is it looking good? Yes, I think it is. Is it looking great? Is it the best thing that has ever happened to Diablo? Definitely not. But it's a huge leap forward in what the game should look like, and what the end game should look like, etc. So let's break it down. The first thing are the vampiric powers that we are getting in the game instead of Malignant Hearts, which already look a bit more interesting. We have 5 powers that we can have active at the same time. There's also the vampiric curse, which, like, as you could have seen on many pages, is not really described there. So, like, a lot of people might be wondering, like, okay, so this spell like places vampiric curse on the target, but what it actually is, vampiric curse is a negative effect on the enemy. When the enemy dies, their soul is stored within you. You can store up to 8 souls, and when you use defensive, macabre, or agility skill, all of those souls are released and attack enemies around you. Now, what we don't know yet is whether they just randomly attack anything, so that, like, all 8 souls can attack the same target or will attack the same target, or if it's 1 soul per target, or if it's just AoE damage. AoE damage would be really great, and then, like, single target if there's just a boss fight or something. We'll have to wait and see for that. But we have 5 powers to use. Also, the way we acquire these powers, the way we can activate these powers, is by pacts. It's basically like secondary gem slots on your gear. Normal gear can have up to 3 pacts. Sacred gear can have up to 4, and ancestral gear up to 5. And the gear comes with some packs already included, already on the gear, but there are vials that you can use to add a pact, or, like, cleanse all of the pacts that are on the gear, which is great because it removes some of the RNG aspect from the game. Like, if you put the time into playing the game, you will benefit from it. You will be able to, choose specific pacts that you want, so that you can activate specific powers. Now, for the powers themselves, there is many. At the moment, there's 22, 23 if you include, well, the vampiric curse itself. And from the powers that, like, from reading the powers, from looking at what they're offering, and that, like, they don't say anywhere that we're limited to one major power, so it should mean that we can use multiple. So I already, like, theory crafted, like, I was looking at what might be the best powers for rogue, because I am a rogue main. So for poison builds, I think that these powers will be the best. The first four are 100% best in slot, in my opinion. Like, we still have to wait for all of the changes, obviously, to the classes, and to the stats, because it's not just classes that are getting reworks or like changes, buffs and nerfs. Also, like, we are getting new Paragon glyphs. The items are getting some reworks, and etc. Stats are getting reworks, vulnerable, crit strike damage. So this is just like, with the information that we have now, these, in my opinion, are the best in slot for poison rogue. And then you can choose, like, do you want more damage? Do you want, more survivability? Do you want some healing? So that's like the fifth power that you can choose. There are also some very, very interesting powers for physical rogue, for example. Because now it is easier to farm uber uniques. Like, it's still not gonna be super easy, right? But you will, like, according to Blizzard, definitely know people, like 100% know some people that got them, meaning that there will be a chance to farm. There will be a chance to be running with Doombringer, for example. And I already did some theory crafting there as well. I took my Vaki Hanma build, used Doombringer, brought it to more than 20,000 HP, and with the Hamamancy Vampiric Power, which is 80% damage of your max life every 4 seconds, and physical damage. So probably it will be boosted by physical damage boosters, like our chip glyph that increases the physical damage, and like increases it further with the multiplicative damage increase. The more we use our physical damage, it could literally give us a huge barber explosion, like barber explosion. It's all theory crafting, obviously. We will have to wait for the actual gameplay, for the actual testing to happen. But these are just like some ideas for Rogue that might be really, really insane. I'm especially excited, like, in case I ever get my hands on Doombringer and it still gives the HP, etc. Like, I'm so excited to give this physical build a try, because more than 20,000 HP, all of the defensives, healing with the undying vampiric power of 3%, of our max HP, doubled when we are under 50%. Like, it could mean that Rogue will become the best tank in the game. Something like you'd be so powerful, so tanky, that you wouldn't even have to have your eyes open to play like T100s or something. So I really am excited to test that out. Now, the other thing, it goes, along with the vampiric powers, is the way we actually get them, and that's by farming the new monsters and potent blood that drops out of them. Potent blood is what we use to activate the powers, and you can farm it in Blood Harvest. Blood Harvest, supposedly, according to Blizzard, is the best way to farm it. Blood Harvest is basically a new Hell Tide, but it is way better in, because it's on at all times. You don't have to wait for it. Like, Blood Harvest is always happening. It just changes its location around the map. But let's say it in Frozen Peaks, it ends and suddenly it's gonna start in Kyrgyzstan and stuff like that. So you can always farm these blood harvests, and like inside these, you have events like kill certain stuff. Monsters will drop keys that will help you free prisoners, etc. And the best monsters to farm for potent blood are blood seekers. What are blood seekers? Well, basically they are class-like monsters meaning they will also use class-like abilities. Like you will fight against rogues, druids, barbarians, etc. And those are supposedly the best way to farm potent blood. And it's actually a little bit more interesting to see such monsters than the new new vampiric monsters, like the blood skeletons and like the blood vampiric lords, etc. Because those are just like, well, like those are just like recolors of the monsters that we already have, which is kind of funny to call them new monsters. But they got some new interactions, like like when you kill them, you you have to like click on something. You have to like um, take something out of them, otherwise they will explode or get shield to the others. Some kind of interactions. Apart from being just recolors of the monsters that we already got. Um, Now, the other thing that we are getting, apart from new monsters, are 5 new bosses. That goes together with the way to farm Uber Uniques, because Uber Uniques not only got increased the drop chance, but the late game bosses, the new Uber bosses, supposedly will have like specific loot table, so you'll be able to target a specific unique that you want to farm. These bosses will be summoned by getting specific materials, and those materials can be traded among players. What that means, and like only one player in the party needs the materials to summon the boss. And what that means is that finally we got something that gives us the benefit of playing in a team, of playing with friends, which is so much more fun than just playing solo. So if you play with your friends, each of you can summon the boss once. Suddenly, you can fight the boss 4 times, because only one player needs to be the one to summon the boss. With the best boss being the king of maggots. That's the new Uber boss. You have to kill the uh, like the saint the saint boss and echo of Varshan to collect the materials out of them, and those materials you can use to summon the king of maggots, which is the new Uber boss. Uber Lilith is still in the game, of course, as well, so there's a lot of end game stuff to farm. All of the bosses also drop several cosmetics that you can farm, if you want to customize the appearance of your champion, of your character. The other really, really good change, but at the same time not enough kind of change, is the new stash. Like, finally we got some filters, but let's be honest, the filters that we got are, there's a search function and you can look for a specific item. Like, you can type in the name of the item and it will pop up, which is good, but at the same time, like, name of the item, like, why would you like look for that, right? That's not what anyone wants to look for. And there are other filters, like you can only, for example, filter weapons, so you will only see weapons. You can only filter armor, you can only filter normal gear, uniques, etc. But to be honest, those were easy, very easy to distinguish just by their glow, etc. And you already, like, if you just sorted your items, it would be like all of the gloves next to each other, all of the helmets next to each other, etc. So the change is nice, but at the same time does not mean anything. The filters that we need, the filters that, in my opinion, are needed, and I'm sure that everyone will agree, is like, let's say my best in slot weapon is a dagger, and it has vulnerable, core skill damage, all stats, and dexterity, and maybe damage over time I'd take as well. Okay, so like 5 possible stats on the weapon. So what I want to do for the filter is I only want to see daggers that got at least 3 out of these 5 stats that I picked, you know, and no other dagger ever will show up, will light up in the inventory. They will be like grayed out, because I'm only interested in seeing this particular stat combination, because like if I type in like Doom or something, which is what they did in the video, like I don't know what item is gonna pop up, and like there's definitely not a particular name for an item, based on all the 4 bis stats that we need or something. So it is a good step, forward. It is an improvement to what we have, but is it enough? Definitely not. It doesn't do any of the things that are needed for the filter to do. A good example of that is Last Epoch. You know, they even show you like you can recolor that gear, even like when it drops from the boss, from the mob or chest or whatever, like on the ground before you even collect it, based on the color, the name of the item is, you can already tell whether it got the stats that you are looking for. I mean, that's just so damn good. Like Blizzard literally needs to, I don't know, pay for that. Like pay the developers of Last Epoch whatever, hundreds of millions of dollars. Just do it, and let like you know let them help you with that, because they did an amazing job. That's literally the best filter that has ever existed in ARPGs. Like we need that in Diablo, or at least something very close to that. Because yeah, I'm still not convinced this is the filter that is gonna change anything. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that much. But what does matter, what in my opinion is like more important, or like not more important, but actually more beneficial than the filter that we got, is that now we have more stashes across the cities, and we also have stashes in all of the cities that got a waypoint. The second there is a waypoint, there will be stash. Although also the vendor of curiosities or whatever he's called, he is also way closer to the waypoint, so you don't have to run across the whole city, to find him and spend your currency. So that's definitely a good change there. But the filters, still not convinced. Still not convinced. But it's a good, it's a good change. Like, it's a good improvement. It's just not enough. The other thing that we got is, and that is also quite nice, a season specific item tab, it seems. So our like backspace is not taken by all of the pacts, all of the vials for adding pacts or removing pacts, etc. There is actually a tab for just those items, which is definitely a great change. Then dungeons and nightmare dungeons. Like I personally spent like 70% of my run was just running for a way to get towards the objective that I'm supposed to get to, and then like looking for a way out to find the boss or reach another map. Like there were dungeons so long that you had to go across the whole map, whole map to enter a portal to go across another map, collect an item, go all the way back, take the portal again, go to the other side of the first map, take another portal. After taking the item from that portal, you would have to go back and open passage to another map. Shit like that, supposedly by Blizzard. Uh, all of these dungeons were remade to not be as complicated, to not be as long, and the objectives should be along the way, so no longer you will be like running around the map looking for whatever it is that you need to find, and that's a great change. Oh my god, that's such a good change. I was literally like half of my dungeons were spent running around and just looking for stuff, which is so boring. Also, there were not enough like respawn points sometimes, especially like if you're playing a rogue, you can skip a lot of the map with just like dashing around, shadow stepping, stealthing, etc. And like you could get to the end of the dungeon and then you died by some accident or something, and it teleported you at the beginning of the dungeon. So like no one likes running. Like if I play the game, I don't want to spend 5 minutes, just running from the beginning of the dungeon. So these changes are great, just great. And the last change, like last big or bigger change that the season 2 is bringing us are items. Items are now their item power cap is now increased to 920, and the item power should be scaling with the enemy level. Before there was no reason to play T100s. Like literally, no reason to play them. There are no leaderboards yet to go for like speed runs, etc. And the gear that drops from T80s is the same as what drops from T100s. There's literally no difference. So T80s, T90s, those were better to run, better to farm items, and with the right build, they were so easy that you literally could play with like one hand, and so there was no reason to actually play the end game. But now items are scaling with monster level. Yes, yes, and yes. Great change. That means that farming T100s is gonna be the best way to get the best gear in the game. At least if the item powers scale, all the way up to 154 level mobs. If that's how it works, I hope it doesn't really stop at like monsters 100, just open world monsters, because that would be kinda bad. But yeah, this is definitely a good, very very good change. Now there are obviously some other QOL changes within the game, all pretty good, all improving the overall feel, overall gameplay of the game, and those are all very good. So my opinion on season 2 so far is it's good. It's very good. But is it great? Um, no, I don't think so. There are still, some of the most important parts, most important things, most important like annoyances, not being fixed. That's the proper gear filter. And I almost forgot. I almost forgot the absolute most important thing in the game: dual talents. That's what we are still missing, or at least it still hasn't been announced. And I think that on the 10th of what is it now, October. On the 10th of October, it will be just like class changes and stat changes, Paragon board changes, stuff like that. It won't be any more QOL functions. It might be. It might be. I'm not sure, but I don't think there will be QOL changes anymore announced then. So what we are missing are dual talents, because they said that every single of those 5 new bosses will be a specific damage type, meaning that resistances combined with the rework of resistances that should make them, do something, would mean that for every boss you should have like a different gear set, different paragon set with the resistances for that particular boss, like poison resistance or cold resistance, etc. But for that, you would have to change your Paragon board for every single boss. You would have to change it. Then we have Paragon boards for T100s, Paragon boards for PvP. So literally the most important thing missing from the game are, dual talents. Or like, I want to be able to save all of the Paragon boards that I'm using into some kind of, you know, well, dual talents, and then just be able to click, name it like T100s. Click, voila, I have Paragon board for T100s. Lilith, click, boom, I have Paragon board for Uber Lilith, PvP, etc. Blah blah blah. That has to happen. That has to happen. I don't mind if I have to pay every single time I change it. I like even now I have to pay for the changes to the Paragon boards. So like I don't care. You know, just like let me pay for it every single time I change it. Whatever. But let me have it in the game. It is so tiresome, boring, and annoying to have to change, Paragon boards point by point every single time. Like no, that's a no. That has to be addressed immediately. But yeah, other than that, the changes are very good. It's a huge leap over season one, which was I had fun. I had a lot of fun, but like honestly, it wasn't very good. So this is a huge leap. Uh, you know, towards a better future for Diablo, but we are still missing some crucial things. So if with season 3 that's also bringing us leaderboards, they will, do another such huge leap, the game might actually become really great, like extremely great one day. So thanks for watching. I hope you are as excited, because I am excited for season 2 as I am. I'm so excited to test all of the new items, all of the new uniques. We are getting 12 new uniques. The uniques that we already have right now are being changed. I'm just so excited to go into the game and test all the new builds and test everything. Test all the, relationships between the new powers and our Paragon boards, between the new glyphs that we are supposedly getting, etc. So yeah, I can't wait. 10 more days. 10 more days for the season to come. And oh my god. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one.